Good evening, Gonzo. How are you doing?
I am very, very well, thank you, sir. Much the same as yesterday. What about yourself?
I'm good. I'm feeling better than yesterday. I was really tired last night,
Mm.
actually. I was really, really tired. But today I'm feeling a bit refreshed. I don't know why. I'm just feeling a bit refreshed. So I'm ready to rock and
Early,
roll.
early night.
No, not really. I've been like I said to you in the mug of tea last night with the pictures. Going to manifest. I've been watching that again. I've been still watching it. I think I've watched about 9 episodes in a week now. Um,
Oh, wonder what to attribute this sort of extra energy. A full Scottish breakfast this morning.
no full Scottish breakfast. I had my cinnamon and raisin bagel.
Yeah.
I don't like raisins, but you don't. There's not that many in the bagel. It's really nice. So a bit of that in the toaster, a bit of butter on it. Happy
I don't
days.
like cinnamon, bagels, or raisins.
Well, you definitely would. What about the butter?
Yeah, I'll do that. Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, I've got a disclaimer before we crack on. We've got a bit coming up on the show. We've got Lanzini. The main topic is Lanzini. A little bit about Ngakia, a bit about the Premier League in general. We've got your questions. Also, a fun feature in the middle. If everything goes right, and that's my disclaimer, we're going to be picking Bundesliga teams. Bundesliga is back next weekend, so if you haven't got a German team already, we're going to give you one. I'll explain that during the show. We'll be picking one for Gonzo. We've got questions. We'll be interacting with the live chat as well. Anyway, so are you ready, Gonzo? Are you ready for the show?
Oh,
Disclaimer: new computer. If anything goes tits up, I'm blaming the
it's
computer, but
yeah.
hopefully it goes alright. We're streaming in the best quality we've ever streamed in tonight. No pressure.
So,
Don't start that because you put me off as well. Anyway, Lanzini, you've seen the comments, but you've seen some of the comments about Lanzini because it's behind a paywall, so we've not read the whole article, but we got the gist of it, which was he's not very keen on
because
coming
we're
back.
tight.
Yeah, we are very tight. I'm tight by nature. You're just tight.
Well, absolutely. You've got all these bagels, these fancy bagels to be spending out on, my friend, and a new laptop, of course. You're right. I am just tight, so I won't pay for the extra thing. But I got the general gist, which is he don't want to come back and play football till there's a vaccine. Have I got that right?
Yeah. Well, he said he'll come back if he has to, but he thinks it's crazy, and he would just rather not do it.
Oh, yeah. Where to start on this one, really? I have every sympathy. I have every sympathy if he doesn't feel safe. We did a mug of tea last night, and
Yes.
we covered a lot of this last night. And I gave the example of people at my work, some of whom want to go back to work yesterday. Don't care. They'll go back to work yesterday, no mask, no gloves. Don't worry about it. It's cool. When I've said to them, look, what we're going to need to do is adapt and do things a little bit differently. I've said so when we get there, we've got to make sure either we basically rotate the rooms we're in or we stay 2 meters apart. One of the guys looked at me like I was mad. Oh, come on, no, look, we'll be all right. We worried about you, young man. And he's, believe it, he was saying to me, you're a young man, by the way. I know. We've got others that will say, okay, I'll come back to work as long as you implement all the things just discussed. And there's at least one, I'm not sure he will come back to work. And I just think that's going to be reflective of football as well. So this is yet to play out. At the moment, you seem to have two parties negotiating with each other, and it doesn't seem to have factored in the individual. And the individual is going to really be a massive factor in whatever happens. And Lanzini's one of those individuals. And if Lanzini feels it's not safe for him to return, then there's not an awful lot we can do about it. And anybody that's listened to me talk about Lanzini before the season got postponed, cancelled, whatever you want to call it, I was adamant that Lanzini was fit. I was adamant that Lanzini it technically was fine. I don't think he lost a yard of pace or anything like that. I thought it was all in the heads. I thought he didn't want to commit to anything. Do you remember he saying this? He doesn't want
Yeah.
to commit to a dribble or a tackle or anything like that. Now he came back. I can't remember which one it was, but I think it might have been Burnley, and he pretty much got shoved over. Which he looked all right when he first came back. Then he sort of got shoved over. So it was a bit of a professional foul. Whoever did it, I can't remember the player that did it on him. And after that, I thought it's almost like he retreated into himself. He'd lost his confidence. The issues were in his head rather than with his feet. And I think we got a little window into Manuel Lanzini there now, and Manuel Lanzini's way of thinking. And I don't criticise him for thinking like that
No.
because there's going to be others that are like him. Um, but well, I do have an idea what you do with it, which we'll discuss in a bit. But he's going to be the first of many or maybe he's not even the first. Other people have hinted at it. Sergio Aguero being amongst them. It's a tricky one, and David Moyes, who we spoke about on the Mugger Tea last night at length, is going to have to deal with all of those different personalities and all those different people that are having all the differing feelings with going back to work. Basically,
the irony is Lanzini's actually being brave about speaking, about not being brave, if that makes sense, because it does take a little bit of character to speak up, and it's today's alpha male sort of culture, isn't it? You don't want to be seen as weak, and it's okay not to be okay in that. And it's slightly different, this, but I think it's probably because that's relating to mental health in a normal world, whereas it's not a normal world anymore. But still, there's not that many have spoken up and said, actually, I don't really want to go back yet. Now, it's come out today. I mean, there's loads of stuff about the Premier League in general. I mean, journalists just can't get enough of it. You're hearing different things from everywhere, and it's changing every minute. There's all these ideas getting banded around and stuff. But the one today that I seen was that 9 clubs are basically saying to their players, you don't want to come back, don't come back. Like, only those that want to come back will. But what's the other 11 doing? That's the concerning thing. Maybe just they haven't shown their hands, so actually they're only aware of 9. They don't know what their 11's doing. But at the same time, I think it's okay if you're in the middle of the table and you're not playing for anything, relegation or European football. I think it's very easy to be able to say, well, don't come back then, because it's safer as a club rather than a player, if that makes sense. We're talking about a safe environment, but actually they're not safe. Those clubs aren't safe down the bottom. But Villa are one of them. Aston Villa is one of them. Dean Smith has said to his players, don't come back, because he's got an asthma player and he's got a player who lives with a mother-in-law who's in remission at the minute. So he's basically saying those 2 players just can't come back. Even if they want to, they cannot come back. So he could be without quite a few first-team players, and he's down the bottom of the table. The whole thing's just a mess. It's just an absolute mess. So Lanzini coming out saying he's crazy. But the thing is, I think he's right, it is crazy, but that's the world we're all going to have to live in now. Every single person's going to have to live in this crazy world, and we have to go back into it at some point. We can't stay indoors until it's no longer crazy, because we don't even know when that will be, if it will ever be that way again. So we just can't afford to sit inside, whether it's individually as the government. We just cannot afford. At some point, we've got to try as safe as possible and get back to as normality as possible. We're never going to get there. We're never going to be not safe. We're never going to be normal again. But we have to get as close to it.
Well, I'll take you up on that.
Yeah.
You can't afford to stay inside. You have to go back to it. You got bagels to pay for. Let's be perfectly frank about this. Lanzini can afford to stay inside. He can stay inside the rest of his life and eat a raisin and cinnamon bagel for his breakfast and buy a new laptop every day for the rest of his life. Not a problem for Manuel Lanzini. And I do wonder if that does change your mindset on there, because as I've alluded to before, once you've got the house with a swimming pool, once you've got the yacht, once you've got the Ferrari, once you've got all this stuff, hold on, what am I doing this for? We know Lanzini is very family orientated. His dad has come with him from Argentina. His dad went when he played for Al Jazeera, I think before. I think he went over there. His dad follows him around everywhere. His siblings come over. Very, very family orientated, as a lot of the Argentinians are, by the way. And I think at some point, I don't doubt for a moment how much he loves his family. At some point, thinking, well, hold on, I've made my family secure. I don't know whether he came from poverty or whatever, but he's probably, okay, I've done well for myself. I've made my family secure. Is it worth one of us being sick? Regardless of whether he would be in a vulnerable group or not, if that's his mindset, it's very, very hard to shift him from that. And in many respects, funny, I was watching something today. It was Gary Neville was talking about Ravel Morrison. Did you see the clip?
No, but I'm aware
okay, well,
of
that was interesting. It was basically Wayne Rooney was saying nothing you haven't heard before. Yeah. When they were coming through, he was twice as talented as Pogba and Alex Ferguson, the best youngster he's ever seen. Paul Scholes, best youngster, blah, 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 blah. And Jamie Carragher and was Gary Neville were talking about the mentality. And it was just quite interesting. And Jamie Carragher was saying something that he's saying, well, look, this is a story that happens quite a lot. Unfulfilled potential. He said, but what people have got to realise is, I paraphrase here, but he was saying, it's not just kicking the ball around. being strong mentally is a massive part of being a successful professional footballer. He was basically saying the top guys, the top footballers in the world, yes, they can tackle or pass or dribble or shoot, whatever, but up there, they have a desire and a motivation above and beyond the players that ended up in League One and League Two. That's why they're top players. He was saying much of a muchness. If they're 10, 11, 12 years of age, there's probably not an awful lot of difference in technique. You get the odd marvellously brilliant one, but you can't tell who's going to do it. And he was saying it's the people who have got it up there who are very, very strong up there. It may well be that Lanzini now no longer has that fire, no longer has that motivation because of the two things. What's happened now in the pandemic and beforehand because of the injuries, the double injury. It may well just be that he just is one of those careers he burned brightly and didn't hear much of him after the age of 26. I think what I do feel is important, though, Gio, on this, okay, is I will defend his right to do that.
Yeah.
I absolutely do. But I do think there comes a point, and I think that point is now, where if you've got to make that decision, you've got to say, well, if that's the case, then I am going to have to admit I am not really a full-time professional footballer anymore. And then there's a conversation that's got to be had about wages.
Yeah, I think that's the thing, but the problem is under health and safety law, players are covered under this. The clubs cannot force the players back, so there's going to be a legal battle going on at all the clubs now, because eventually the clubs are going to have to look after themselves, which is we basically need to furlough Manuel Lanzini and give him $2,500 a month. Essentially, we're going to have to save these wages because we can't afford to be paying someone to stay in Argentina until this is safe. When will that be? Because he's worth millions to the football club. Football's a funny old business in that their assets are people. Their products are people. They don't manufacture anything. They've got no stock. Everything is down to those players. They're worth the money. They are what the football club's all about. And it's a very rare thing. And it's just, there's no right answer here. This is the worst thing. There's no one's in the wrong. Everybody's in the right. The clubs are right to try and get football back because they need to look after the cash flow. The players are right to not want to come back. So the players that do want to come back, they're also right to want to get back to work and stuff. Sure. Everybody's right. But the problem is they don't all go hand in hand. It's just a crazy old situation, and we've not seen the last of this. There's legal disputes happening. The Premier League are almost starting to do like corporate bullying in my eyes. With the bottom three, they basically said, look, you three need to vote for neutral venues, or there's a good chance the league's going to stand as it is, and you're relegated anyway. So they're basically playing chicken with Norwich, Villa, and Bournemouth to try and get them to vote for the neutral venues. The whole thing's just mental. But I'm going to speak about the Lanzini thing first of all, because I'm sure we'll come back to the Premier League when we do the questions and stuff and interact with live chat, because that's a big talking point at the minute. The Lanzini thing. When we were going into this summer before all this, Lanzini was very much top of the list for selling. I think he's made himself unpurchasable, if that's a word. How can you buy a player who doesn't want to play football? Because if this comes around again, which there's every chance of it doing, whether it's in 6 months, 8 months, or a year, maybe even 2 years, it might disappear for a little while and then come back. You cannot have Lanzini at your club because you know what's going to happen. He's going to say, right, that's it, I'm not playing anymore. Now again, he's perfectly right to do that, but as a football club you cannot buy someone for 10 million, 15 million, 20 million, whatever you think he's worth. You can't pay that for a player and not knowing if you're actually going to get a player. I think we're almost stuck with him now because he's spoken up.
Yeah, I mean, I saw your video and I thought it when you said it then. I thought we were already there to a certain extent. This is just, tip the balance, if you like.
But let's use that for any player. And Felipe Anderson, okay? Felipe Anderson at the minute is desirable for a lot of clubs. Possibly desirable for us to sell him. But Felipe Anderson come out and said, I don't want to play until there's a vaccine. And all of a sudden...
I agree. But I do think it's nuanced. I do think there's different for each type of player. So I think it's almost... Lanzini as because of the injury as well, it's doubly bad. I think the Felipe Anderson one is, I know what you're saying. I understand your point, which is if you turn around and you are basically saying I don't want to play, then you're making yourself unattractive to transfer. Yes, I would agree with that, but I think people like Felipe Anderson were going to struggle for transfer anyway because, it'd be interesting to see what does happen with Germany. but I certainly think there's going to be no money generally in the game. Will Paris Saint-Germain still have money? Yes. Regardless of the French league being closed, they will. There will be the odd clubs, but I think traditionally, the type of player that might have looked to sign Felipe Anderson, AC Milan, Napoli, Lazio, whatever you want. Maybe there might be a team in Spain, maybe Atletico Madrid, for instance. I'm not saying they would, but you know what I'm saying. Maybe a team that might look to sign a player like that. They're going to have no money.
Yeah.
They're really not going to have any money. So what you said about is Felipe Anderson worth 20 million now, whatever? Yes, I think so. But I also understand your bigger point. It's going to take a massive period of adjustment for the transfer league for the transfer
football's
merry-go-round as a whole.
Football's changed drastically, and we don't even know what it looks like yet. That's the thing. We're all in this lull at the moment. The Bundesliga is going to give us a small insight when it comes back in the 16, but not really, because all we're going to see is two teams playing football behind closed doors. We're not going to see the bigger picture, which is the transfers, the contracts. I mean, the Premier League at the minute are trying to get a new rule in place, so the 23rd of June is a cut-off for contracts, because a lot of players' contracts expire on the 30th of June, so we only have two, Zabala and Sanchez. We're actually fine, West Ham, but Bournemouth have a lot of players, including Ryan Fraser. Liverpool have Lallana, Chelsea have Williams. There's a lot of big players in the Premier League at a contract, so on the 23rd of June, they have to have, there's three options. A, they get a new deal, they've had a new deal by then. B, they're leaving at the end of June, and therefore they can negotiate with a new club as of the 24th of June, or the third one, which is there's an extension put in place to cover this season, and then they're a free agent kind of thing. So the whole thing is just we're making it up as we go along, really. It's just crazy.
Well, the Ryan Fraser one, I hadn't even thought of that. That's a really interesting one, because he's a good player, and season before last, before he started running his contract down, before clearly he had a little falling out with the club already, Howe looked like one of the best players in the league on his day. Lots of assists. Wonderful. Really good. Tricky, twisty, turny. I'm not even talking about the boosted version you used on the FIFA game that time when we played England v Scotland. But putting that aside, it'd be worth probably 200 million, that little version you created there of Ryan Fraser. But putting that aside, what happens with him? So let's say, pick a team that might be interested in Ryan Fraser that were about to sign him. Who was he rumoured to be leaving for on a free? Liverpool.
Yeah.
I think that sounds familiar. Liverpool now would be dangling. It would have been before dangling a carrot of a 5-year contract to Ryan Fraser. Now Liverpool are probably looking at it thinking, actually, we don't know. Football is uncertain for Liverpool as well. Whilst they might previously been getting a good deal, getting Ryan Fraser on a free, and thinking, okay, yeah, but he'll get 100 grand a week or whatever. 100 grand a week for Ryan Fraser on a 5-year deal? I don't think they're touching it with a barge pole. I also do look at it where Bournemouth are thinking, well, we don't know what's going on either. Have Bournemouth taken that contract off the table that they were offering Ryan Fraser to say, Ryan, look, come on, stay by the seaside, stay at Bournemouth? I'm not. This is really funny, because out of all of it, I bet Ryan Fraser sat there thinking, I don't know. I bet he's saying to his agent, what the hell's going on? I bet his agent's saying, I don't know, no one's speaking to me, I don't want to give me any money. It's a really, really funny one. Yeah. Really funny.
Remember, Blowing Bubbles put a good point in the live chat. We normally go to the live chat in the second half of the video, but he's put a good point in there, and I want to credit him with this rather than pretending I've come up with this idea. And that is, will football clubs now put in a clause to cover themselves? He said against the virus, but just against the term global pandemic, I guess, might be now a new clause in players' contracts from now on. As if to say, if football is postponed due to a global pandemic, your wages will be cut in half, essentially. The players are going to have to sign it, aren't they? The club hold the power when it comes to negotiating with.
Yeah, that's a good. Well thought of, Geo. That's a good point. You're on form tonight.
I still find it crazy that there's no insurance. I still find it crazy because Wimbledon. You look at them when this first come out. Wimbledon got cancelled pretty quick. Then it come out for 7 years now. They've been paying a $2 million a year insurance against a global pandemic. So they paid out $14 million. This summer they're going to get back around about $140 million.
Who?
Wimbledon, the tennis competition.
Are you joking?
No. Google it. Wimbledon have been insuring themselves for the last 7 years. I'm sure it's 7 years for £2 million a year against a global pandemic. And obviously they've paid out $40 million this year. They're getting a payout worth approximately $140 million. if Premier League had insurance, this whole thing would be solved, because the whole problem is money from broadcasters. So if they were insured properly, this wouldn't be, all this stuff would be fixed, because there'd be a big payout coming. The only problem is the Premier League's payout for insurance per year would be a lot more than 2 million.
Of course.
The liability of Wimbledon's 140. So what's the Premier League? A couple of billion, maybe. So I wouldn't want to know. They've maybe inquired. And
he's like the old chief executive of the LTA is looking very, very smart at the moment. I bet he's kicking back with his feet up there.
Some insurance company, whoever accepted that, is panicking a little bit.
Oh dear. The old meerkats are not happy at that one.
They have to sell some more toys. There's going to be a limited edition meerkat out next week. We know where that's going. But anyway, enough about Lanzini. Ngakia. Ngakia has been offered a contract, but he's not signed it yet. He's not rejected it either. However, it's believed that the contract on the table is not reflective of Ngakia's role in the squad. It's a difficult role to judge, because he's not a first-team regular, but he's not an under-23s player. So he's somewhere in the middle. And it's the whole Declan Rice thing again. The longer Ngakia holds off, the more he will earn, as long as he's playing first-team football, the more money he deserves. Because when Declan Rice first negotiated his deal, he was only just in the first team. But by the end of it, he was one of our key players. Therefore, his wage demands were just going up and up and up every month. And I think Ngakia could be a similar situation.
You've read Alec Ferguson's book, haven't you? Okay, the story of Ryan Giggs. For those of you who don't know, at Manchester United at the time, first team players used to get a car. Doesn't matter. Footballers are so rich now; they just buy their own supercar, don't they? But at the time, you get a car. They deal with whoever, a car company, Mercedes, whatever. He broke into the team and he played 12 games. Either got to the end of the season or it got to some sort of milestone, and he'd come on. Some of them as sub, and some of them starting games. But he broke into the team. He went to Alec Ferguson and he turned around. And he said, "Oh yeah, do you mind? Can I have the car now? Do I get the company car?" Basically. And Alec Ferguson said, "A car? Cars for first team players?" And he said, "Yeah." He said, "How many games you played, Ryan?" He said, "I think I've played 12 games." He said, "Yeah, 12 games. Not exactly a first team player. Come back when you've played 50. And that was Alex Ferguson. And it's a great story. And I do think it's, let's get this right. I mean, Ngakia looks to be like a fantastic player. He looks like he's going to be good. And we hope he may be better than that. We hope he'll be sharing the right back spot with Glenn Johnson for years to come, and they both turn out to be fantastic players. But I'm not sure he's played 4 or 5 games in total. I don't know now. Obviously, we're playing blind here. We don't know what the contract is. But if what we're saying is the contract is not reflective of his status, I don't know what it is. But I'll tell you what. I don't know what the money is. I'll tell you what Ngakia's status is, though. His status is a young youth team player who, because of injuries, has found himself making 4 or 5 first team appearances. We may have hoped that had the season have played out to its conclusion that he might have made the position his own. But until Ryan Fredericks came back, bearing in mind he only got the job because Ben Johnson was injured as well. Until you basically have Zabaleta, Johnson and Fredericks back, we don't know if Ngakia is our first choice right back. So that's his status.
He held Zabaleta off. Zabaleta was on the bench for the last one, I think.
But yes, but that's one game or 2 games. He is not yet a first team player, is my point. He is a young player breaking through who may make it in to the first team. At the moment, it looks promising. Now, what I'm saying is what has been offered reflective of that sentence I just said? Okay, or is he saying what the wage you're offering is not reflective of a first team player like Ryan Giggs thought he was after a handful of games? That's all I would say. But we don't know what's been offered. If he's been offered £500 and a you know what I mean, a bar of chocolate and a packet of crisps, fair enough. If he's turning down 15 grand a week or something like that, or 10 grand a week, you think, well, hold on a second,
it's the old Reece Oxford stick, isn't it? You paid Reece Oxford 20 grand a week after 2 games. I'll have 20 grand a week, please. That's the barometer you, West Ham United, that's the barometer you set. So do you know how you said Fergie? You said, no, 50 games is the barometer for a car. West Ham said after 2 games you get 20 grand a week.
Yeah.
So it's sort of rod for your own back kind of thing here.
Yeah.
But the good thing is we don't know what he's been offered. That's a good thing.
That is good.
Yeah, because
yes.
remember the
Nothing
Declan
leaks.
Rice thing. We've got a very detailed breakdown. I don't want to see that again with Ngakia. That's not a nice thing. I hope it stays. The fact that this has come out, the fact that he's been given one and not accepted it, I've seen people go, "Oh, I don't know how this is." Just calm down. Like, I wouldn't even be surprised if he got offered it 2 months ago, and it's a case of, we'll come back to it once football's up and running. We've got bigger things to worry about. I bet you, and Ngakia's got bigger things to worry about. Karen Brady, David Sullivan, they've all got much bigger things to worry about as well. Rather than he's only got a year to go in his contract. So it does need sorted, but I don't think it's an immediate priority. And if he's
I'd certainly look to see what division we were playing in first year.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, but we need him. We need him because Zabaleta's leaving, so we've only got 2 right. Well, 3 if you include Ben Johnson. Anyway, is there anything else you would like to talk about news-wise before we go into the questions?
No, just the I didn't end up doing a video about it. Just the thing with the I do love the ideas, some of the ideas that are being bandied around, and I thought it was really funny to see the one where they might have reduced time, and it was Gordon Taylor. It's easy to beat Gordon Taylor with a stick, right? He seems inept at the best of times. He represents the players' union, which I'm not saying footballers don't need a union, but the top players don't need a union. I certainly would agree that lower league players and need a union if you're in a conference and whatever, you break your leg, you can't play again. Absolutely. Things like that. I do think there's a union there. But at the top level, I don't think it needs one. I certainly don't think it needs a fat cat union leader like Taylor on whatever, 2.5 million a year or something like that, trying to sound important, trying to sound relevant. Having said that, he probably feels at the moment he's got to earn his wage, because now it's probably the first time I can remember in my lifetime where at the top level the players' union representative actually has a job to do, because he is going to have to deal with all those different things that we started talking about, Lanzini, all the different types of people, whether they do want to play football, whether they don't want to play football. That being said, he has to be seen to be busy and doing something. For him to come up with an idea or suggest that during talks it has been discussed that that games might not be 90 minutes. Maybe we'll play them 80 minutes each way. Well, that's going to make all the difference then, isn't it? Of course, that's it. Because you can't catch anything over 80 minutes. 90. Oh, no, it's that final 10 minutes in the game. Oh, that's the real cruncher. That's when people start to cough and really splutter over each other. I just say it's lunacy. Why would it make a difference? If the moment it doesn't matter whether you play 5-a-side in a 20-minute game or 11-a-side in a 90-minute game. If you're going to do it, do it. Don't. Oh, there's so many other big things to sort about. Why did you not engage your brain before you opened your mouth? It's ridiculous.
Yeah, I've seen the more ridiculous one for me is piping in crowd noise to the ground. That's the worst one. I just seen that. But what is this? Like, behave. But anyway, a bit of fun time before we do the questions. Let me move this out of the way. I'm gonna try this. Because I'm gonna get up on the screen. Gonzo can't see the screen that you guys at home see. But if this works on the screen in 1 second, there you have it. Look at that. You have a wheel. All the Bundesliga teams are on that wheel. So you viewers at home, pick a number between 1 to 3. 1, 2 or 3. Gonzo, have you got a German team, by the way?
Well, I was going to choose Cologne because they would probably smell nice.
Can you just say no for the sake of the video?
No, I don't have a team.
Pick a number of 1, 2 and 3.
Okay, yes.
Okay, you're not going to tell me which one?
You didn't tell me to tell you. I don't know if it was a secret. I had to tell you at the end. You could do a magic trick. No. It's 3. It's number 3. I'm going to
spin the wheel 3 times. So at home you've chosen 1. The first team is your team to support. The second spin is obviously number 2, and Gonzo's number 3. So that he will get the third team. If any are duplicates, we will spin again. So let's spin the first wheel. And see, let's pick some German teams for you viewers at home. So if you pick number 1, your team, it's Gonzo's team maybe. Oh no, it's sneaked in. It's Wolfsburg. You are supporting Wolfsburg for the rest of the season, nice. Who I believe are 17th in the league. Proper West Ham team for you, you at home there. You've got Wolfsburg. So second spin. If you pick number 2 at home, this is your team. You have. Oh, Wolfsburg again, behave, spinning the wheel again. We're not having duplicates in this thing. Get out of here. No, 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 no.
That's obviously the feeder club, Wolfsburg B.
It's proper West. I was thinking, West Ham fans, you're definitely having Wolfsburg. Right, okay. Number 2 at home. Oh, you just missed Leverkusen. You've got Paderborn, I'm afraid. No.
I've never heard of them.
Yeah.
You don't want that team. Unlucky whoever chose number 2.
Number 3, Gonzo's won. So you've got all the big teams left. Gonzo, let's see who you've got. Gonzo, you have got... Oh, it's fucking Wolfsburg again. What's going on with this wheel?
What's wrong with your wheel? Have you weighted it on one side, like on the W? You put like a little penny on the W.
It's a very popular website.
A raisin, sprinkled a bit of cinnamon on the W, weighted it down.
If it comes Wolfsburg again, I'm going to delete them off the wheel and spin it again so we can't get them. Oh, for God's sake. Oh, it's Freiburg. You've got Freiburg. You just missed Dortmund.
Well, I don't like the sound of them.
Well, that's the wheel. I left it up to the wheel, so it's not my fault.
Did you have Cologne on there?
They're called Köln. Koln. FC Köln. That's them. Cologne is their old name. Yeah, so there you go. There's your German teams.
They've changed their name?
Yeah.
Why?
I'm pretty certain it's the same team. I'm 90% sure it is. You're testing my German. You're testing my German.
Nine. That's all you're gonna get.
What's don't know in German? I need a bit of that. Right, questions. While I load them up, we've got mishmash posters now. Quite often we get asked, how do you get one of these posters? We've got them. If you want one, email us, hammerschat@gmail.com.
Tell them we're on there. Tell them we're on there.
Gonzo are on there somewhere. They're there. You can't see them on the screen, but we're here. And there's a Hammers Chat flag on there as well somewhere. But you can get them in the big size like this or an A3 size. Email us for prices, terms and conditions and all that stuff. But anyway, right, question number 1. Rudy, Alan, do you think Moyes has a transfer window and pre-season? Do you think when Moyes has a transfer window and pre-season, he'll revert back to his favoured back 3?
Before we do that, what sort of terms and conditions are there to put in a poster on your wall?
Postage and packaging.
Oh.
I messed up a little bit doing the polo shirts. I've not told you this, but I undercharged the people that live abroad. So I Googled, I went on the Royal Mail website, and when someone said, oh, I live in this country, I put in that country and took a small parcel. I thought, that'll do. And that's how much I charged them. When I got to the post office, different total. So I messed up a little bit, so I'm making sure I don't mess up this time.
Well, maybe if we send one over to Freiburg, they can post me a shirt back.
Maybe. Anyway, 3, yes or no?
Probably. I would imagine that it was done under certain duress, a reluctance. He seemed to really be quite resolute that he wanted to play the 3. It didn't matter. It worked against Bournemouth, and then he tried something else. It was Geo famously said it worked in the first half against Brighton, and then he tried to revert back, and it didn't end so well. And we seem to do better with the 4 at the back, but people that are football manager going to be stubborn. I would agree with Alan. I wouldn't be surprised if he did that. I would certainly agree with that point of view. I don't think he should, but I think he would.
I would be surprised if he did change back. He'd have to be real daft to, because it got to breaking point. He really had to switch to 4 at the back, and he did, and it worked. Like, you've got to be so blind to not see that 4 at the back has worked better. Plus, he's going to have a problem if he switches to 3 at the back. How is he setting up his midfield and attack and stuff? Where is he playing people? His squad's now fit for like a 4-3-3 or whatever you want to call it. This squad now suits that. So anything else is just criminal. West Ham fan zone. Apart from the obvious choice of Declan Rice, pick one player from the first team that you think should not be sold under any circumstances.
Mikel Antonio would be the one.
Would it?
Absolutely. We're not going to get any decent money for him. We weren't going to anyway because of his age. Now we definitely won't. He is going to, every time he looks like he's going to be written off, he comes back and he rescues us, or he comes back and he has massive impacts in games. He plays all sorts of positions. He can play as a substitute. I think he is a real strong guy, strong mentally as well, which can be really important for us. I think a lot of that is because he didn't start his life as a footballer. I think he played non-league, and I think he's just happy to be there. So all those players, Ian Wright, Stuart Pearce, Les Ferdinand, all those guys that did that seem to have something about them. Jamie Vardy's another one. Yeah, I just think he's a massive, big player for us. Yeah, absolutely.
I've got 2.5. The half's so check, so I won't use him. The other two, Fornals and Bowen. I'll go with Bowen. I wouldn't want to sell him under any circumstances this summer because we've taken one step forward. And I would see that as taking 2 steps back selling him. It would just be crazy. I'm looking. He's. Do you know if I was to, if let's just hypothetically this was to disappear and next season went ahead as normal, you're allowed to renew your season ticket. Match day 1, I'd be going to the ground excited, and a large part of that would be because of Jared Bowen. I'd be thinking, oh, I'm looking forward to seeing this guy have a full season at West Ham, seeing what he can do. That would excite me. But I'm going to jump to live chat because there's a couple of questions coming in, and I'll keep flicking backwards and forwards because I always miss them in the live chat and I feel a bit bad. Rick Hammond, if the season restarts, will West Ham stay up or go down?
I think we stay up.
For like what makes you think that? Bear in mind, you just said he'll switch to 3 at the back as well.
Well, I don't think we'll stay up if we do that. I think we were always at a disadvantage because of everything that had been discussed previously. Not many coaches. David Moyes had not been there for a long time. We get to start fresh. And David Moyes almost gets a chance to start fresh. Last time he started mid-season. The first time at the club, I didn't have a pre-season. Second time in, starts, because of Pellegrini's failings, didn't get a pre-season. Now he'll get a pre-season. Is it technically one? No. But I think there's a leveling of the playing fields there. I don't think he's starting from 2 steps back. I just like everything we discussed this at length last night, of course. But I think I just like everything that's been happening with him, with the way he's trying to prepare the players, even though they're not at the training ground at the moment. I just like everything that's been going on. I think we've got a manager who can steer us clear of it, and I think it almost wipes away all the troubles. People aren't going in anymore thinking, oh no, we're a club at the bottom and this, that, and the other. All those relegation football worries are not going to be there. Yes, will they have been replaced by other worries? Granted, but everybody's going to have those. I think we start from scratch where actually it's not the be-all and end-all, and the players have not been weighed down with relegation for months and months on end, basically. Whether they're refreshed, I don't know, but I think it's a reset button.
I think we might go down. I'm not confident in staying up. I'm not confident in the manager. I'm happy with what I was seeing just before all this happened. And actually, if the season hadn't had this break, I think we would have stayed up. I think we had a bit of momentum. We were playing Wolves at the right time. Spurs had no attack essentially around the corner. And I was looking at the fixtures thinking, this is all right, this is all right. I think we'll do this. But now, because of the reset button, if you like, Spurs now will have Kane, Son and Bergwijn back. That's if Son's back from his military action. I seen a picture of him the other day with his gun. So he's still firing on all cylinders, just not in a Spurs shirt.
Isn't it funny how, as he went to do his national service, Kim Jong-un from North Korea disappeared? I'm just saying.
Yeah, and this happened, so when he comes back, Google restarts.
Yes.
Now, I'm not saying Levy's behind all this, but I won't put past him.
He's a nasty one, and he could do it.
Yeah, so I don't.
Allegedly,
I think we might go down. Because too often I've seen our players down tools, and I can criticise them for doing that because that's down to just playing football essentially in normal circumstances. I've seen them just give up. But now, with this on them as well, and you say they won't be weighed down by relegation, I think they will. I think they will be weighed down by relegation because their contracts will say if you get relegated, you've got a 50% wage cut coming, mate. That's going to be playing on their mind as well. Everything is just... the amount of stress that's going to be on footballers when they come back in the relegation zone or fighting for the Champions League or whatever, it's going to be huge just with their job. Their job's going to be stressful. Home life, they're not even going to be going home, so that's going to be stressful. It's just, I don't know. I just don't think, I'm not convinced we'll stay up, Gonzo. I think, I do fear for us, actually. I really do. Especially if it's a neutral venue. If the neutral venue thing goes ahead, which I think it will, that's even worse because when you're going into a strange world, you want as much familiarity as possible, and that is being close to home. You don't want to be based up in Manchester for a month or something. I just think the whole thing's ridiculous, to be honest, this neutral venue thing. I think it's really stupid, and I don't understand the point. If you're going to play at 10 grounds, you might as well play at 20. Is that 10 virus free? No. So why can you not just play at 20 then? The whole thing's daft. Fans congregating outside? Oh, rubbish. If Liverpool win the title at Wembley, they're going to congregate out. No, they're not. But they're going to congregate outside Anfield anyway. Idiots. Just because the team aren't there doesn't mean they're not going to go outside for a party. The whole thing's just bonkers. And who's going to congregate outside the London Stadium when West Ham are at home to Burnley? Nobody. Nobody's going to do it. What are you talking about? It's just, I don't know. I find it completely stupid. I think they overestimate Joe Public and underestimate Joe Public at the same time, to be honest with you.
Yes.
I think they're doing both. If you think Liverpool winning the title away from Anfield isn't going to stop a party, well, you're wrong. And you know something? I don't blame those Liverpool fans either. They just won the Premier League for the first time in their history. A lot of those fans haven't seen them. I mean, yes, they've won the Champions League, but they've not seen them win the title. The Man U have been mugging them off for so long about not having a title. We live in a social media world. Every year, Liverpool fans getting taunted with the Gerrard slip. I mean, crikey, last week Chelsea put up a picture of it, our anniversary since this goal. There's Gerrard on the deck. Why would you not celebrate? It's just a natural thing. It goes back to this Premier League stuff. Oh, no celebrations during the game. So it's okay to grapple and challenge each other corners, score a goal. No celebrating though. Oh, bugger off. It's an emotional game. They're probably going to celebrate even more now.
I'll tell you what, it'd be a really good excuse, though, to ban Paul Pogba for flossing, wouldn't it? And dabbing.
It would.
Because, celebration, Paul.
Book him. Get out of here. Get out of here.
Jog on. Slowly.
Mini rant over. Oh, crikey. Dan set me up here as well. After the way he's represented the club during the pandemic and the way he's spoken about his vision for the club long term, what are your thoughts on David Moyes as manager? You're warming to him.
I am warming to him.
No one's ever disputed him as a man. Nobody. I've literally never seen any West Ham fans say I don't like him as a person or whatever. I've just not witnessed it. I've been impressed by him as a man, as a human being, but I'm still. It doesn't make me convinced that he's going to be a good manager or he's going to be the manager for us long term. Still not convinced.
No, but I like to think that's gonna count for something. I like to think that there's going to be enough people looking for a bit of kindness, a bit of leadership, a bit of direction. I think there's going to be a lot of players going back very, very unsure. And if he can give direction, if he can give stability, if he's supported them throughout this, if he seems to know to do the right thing. There's been so many own goals, metaphorical own goals by football throughout all this. But throughout it looks like David Moyes knows how to behave all the time and has done the right thing. And there's a lot to be said for that. And I like it. I mentioned last night in the Mugger Seed that I'd liked what he was getting people to do with the brain training and stuff like that. He can't get them all on the training ground to do the drills that he wants to do, but he's still there trying to do other things, to try and get the extra angle, to try and do something else. Okay, well, let's keep him switched on. He said, I'm having to do different things. I'm getting more involved and seeing how people are with their personal lives and their families and things like this. And I just... Will it matter for everyone? No. But it might matter to enough that they think, you know what, this guy looked after me. And you know what, it may well be those guys that he picks to be on the pitch. You may well find that there's an additional... We joked last night about the additional FIFA category, didn't we? And it may well be that in his own mind that how someone has handled this throughout when they've spoken to him on the phone and when they've... He may well not pick technically his best 11 players. May well look at it and think, actually, I'm going to pick 11 players who I think are have just handled it, are going to be least affected, are going to be able to grapple in their set plays. You may well find that. You may well find that. And I just think I've seen other qualities from him. Is he Pep Guardiola? No, he's not. Having said that, I mean, crikey, that's another thing. Pep Guardiola's lost his mum to this disease. He's got his own. Wouldn't blame him for jacking it in. I mean, really, he's lost his mum. But yeah, as I say, he's not Pep Guardiola. He's not the most cultured coach in the world, but I think he knows his last chance saloon. I think he wants to be a better manager. Well, that's a hell of a thing. Not just to be a better manager, just want to be a better whatever, better man, a better anything that you do at your job. Just to want to be better, not to think, I'm pretty good. I'm good as I am, which is a terrible attitude. To think that I like it. I like what I've seen. He looks there's a humility to him, but a focus as well. Yeah, I'm hopeful. He's put some hope in me. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, good. Jazza, if quizzes are quizzical, then what are tests?
Testing.
Standers 13 says Fabianski probably doesn't have many seasons left. How would you replace him? Trot or another top level keeper, and if so, who?
I'd definitely put a goalkeeper in there. Definitely.
Would you chance Trot, or would you be looking to get someone else in?
I just think transfers are done. In that sense for us. I think if we might be able to do one or two. I'm not sure. Goalkeepers.
Let's do hypothetical. If it was a normal transfer window upcoming.
But it's not. So I'm going to say no. I don't think we do. I think you've got Randolph there, and I think we've got a couple of young goalkeepers as well. I think you spend the money in other areas to get what you're going to do. Try and get Henderson off. You're not going to be able to afford him. Yeah. You're not going to be able to afford him.
I'd really be chucking money at Henderson and going to show Sheffield United, saying, "Come on, then let's go."
Well, even without this, we wouldn't have the money because we'd be told by the owners we spend it on Bowen, we spend it on Souček. That's it. There's no money.
Then, would you swap Felipe Anderson for Dean Henderson? I think Henderson's worth. I don't think you'd get Henderson for 30 million, which is what we think. We might get 20 to 30 for Anderson, maybe. So, but I think it would be a bit more for Henderson. But just as a rule of thumb.
No, I wouldn't, and I'll tell you why. Because I don't think it improves the team. I think it's a long-term purchase. I don't think Henderson is better than Fabianski.
Oh, wow.
I think Fabianski is... I've said this many times. I think Fabianski, aside from the Liverpool one, De Gea on his day...
I think
Chelsea's one's...
crap.
I don't like him.
He's rubbish.
I don't like him. Who am I thinking of? The not Bravo, the other one that City got. Who's their main one? City's one, not Bravo. The other one. Ederson. Yeah. I think Fabianski's the fourth best goalkeeper in the league.
I think Fabianski's shot stopping is better than Henderson. I think Fabianski's winning the best in the league, but I think Henderson's better at crossing, and I think his distribution's better, and he's a hell of a lot younger as well. Henderson's going to the top. I think he'll be England's number one at the Euros. It's between him and Pope anyway, but I would chuck money at Dean Henderson because you'd have one of the best keepers. I think he's been the best keeper this season, Dean Henderson. I've seen the team of this season on the BBC earlier before we came live, and flipping Alisson's the keeper. I mean, he's missed half the season. Adrian's been in goal just as much as him. But I think Dean Henderson's been the best keeper this season by far. He really has been. If West Ham were to write a massive whopper of a check to steal him from under the nose of Sheffield United, I'd be over the moon because we'd think, all right, that's that keeper position sorted for 10 years now. And if someone comes and gets him, fine, but it's going to cost you. You're looking at breaking a world record for a goalkeeper eventually if he continues to progress the way he is. He's just got an unbelievable talent, Dean Henderson. I find he's very likeable as well. Often I watch Sheffield United and I find myself rooting for him. Like, it's a bit weird. He's very good at time waste. He's the biggest time wasting keeper in the Premier League, by the way. If Sheffield United are winning, he will take the ball from one side of the 6-yarder to the other, and it rattles fans. Especially if he's on the away ground, you can hear the fans getting furious. You can just see him smiling, enjoying himself, thinking, "Yeah, this is what I'm here for." I like that about a keeper. I like a keeper. Fabianski doesn't do that enough for me. Fabianski's too honest. We could be winning 1-0 and in stoppage time, and you'll take a free quick enough, and I'm like, whoa, slow it down, son. But he doesn't do it. He's too honest. Henderson ticks a lot of boxes, all the boxes for me. Craig, when will we eventually get a decent scout network in? With not much money floating around the window, we will need to snap up some unknown gems.
Yeah, I think the plan was, and it was something David Moyes again was looking to do this coming season. That's what he wants to do. He wants to get the scouting infrastructure, and he wanted to get the guy in. I can't even remember the guy now. he not a director of football. Do you remember when he appointed Tony Henry, David Moyes, the first time? And it wasn't as his boss like Pellegrini appointed Huselos, but it was meant to be a a director of operations, a director of scouting. I think he wants to do that. I can't remember the guy's name now, but he wants to get his scouting set up. Apparently, he was furious when he came in and he saw the cupboard was bare. So yeah, sooner rather than later. And it's another reason that I like Moyes. I think it gives the club some direction. Is a figurehead there. He's basically doing other people's jobs for them, which shouldn't happen, but someone needs to do it.
I think this summer is actually, I think scouting's quite easy. I think because you're going to be forced to essentially buy within England, your knowledge of England should be top. I expect a manager who's been out of the game for as long as David Moyes has. I expect him to come back to West Ham with a vast knowledge of lower league football, because there's every chance he would have got a phone call from Nottingham Forest. Dave, manager's jobs here, do you want it? He would say yes, because they're fighting for the playoffs and stuff. He'd have to take it. He wouldn't be able to go in that unprepared with no knowledge. He would know exactly who the top players are, what clubs in the Championship, and so on and so forth. So I actually think this summer, I think you get away with not having a scouting system, because actually this is where other clubs could fall down. So Southampton will be looking at a player in Belgium and a player in Holland second division or something. Well, actually, good luck getting them, because you might have a bit of trouble getting them in the flipping country. Never mind getting their clubs to. So actually, those with sort of home knowledge and that haven't been spending all their money and time searching about. Sounds bad, but almost our incompetence in scouting might actually work out in our favour this summer, because we've got a manager who. It'd be different if we went and got a European manager. I wouldn't be saying this, but we didn't. We went and got a manager who's done his trade in England and England only, apart from a little blip in Spain. But I expect his knowledge of the lower league to be arguably, possibly, I'm trying to think now, who would have a better knowledge than him? Nigel Pearson, maybe. Steve Bruce, maybe. Dean Smith, Chris Wilder. Apart from that, I'd expect Moyes to be right up there with the rest of them. I expect us to find one or two. Jared Bowen was an obvious signing, but was the only one that went and done it. And actually, I think most of the signings that should be done are obvious. The best players in Championship we all know about. It's not a secret anymore. Benjamin, if Villa, Bournemouth and Norwich go down, you could take one player from each club. Who would it be? Benjamin would take McGinn, Fraser and Max Aarons.
I'll take Aaron's. McGinn's a good shout. Although Grealish is just absolutely brilliant, isn't he? And I do like Mings as well for the leadership. I like the leadership of that boy. Who else have I got? Bournemouth. Yeah, I mean Bournemouth's an interesting one. I quite like Billing. Billing seemed to be coming into form just before. And I think that's a good position for us in midfield. I probably would go for, if I had to though. I know we've got Bowen in that position, but Brook looked really good, didn't he? The winger there, he looks really good as well. I'll probably pick him before Fraser. Interesting.
I would go for Jamal Lewis, because I think left back's more of an issue than right back. John McGinn, because I think centre midfield is more of an issue than attacking midfield. And then from Villa, from Bournemouth, sorry, I get Ake. I think he's just class. I think he's one of the best centre backs in the Premier League, actually. Yes, okay, it means ditching Ogbonna, but Ake's a lot younger, and I think he's just better. I think Ake is just a top six centre back there, and whenever I watch him, I think he's just incredible. So that's who I'd be looking to snap up. Sat says, "What is honeycomb on the brie?" That's my T-shirt. Do you know what honeycomb on the brie is? It's my T-shirt.
That's something you have on your bagel?
No, it's not, unfortunately. It's just Jackmate's merchandise, to be honest with you. Sat also doesn't know who Jackmate is, which is pretty disappointing, to be honest with you. I got it with a picture saying, "Come on, you Irons." Jack's a West Ham fan, so I got a nice thing with that. Jordan, would you be happy with us becoming a consistent top 10 team? He feels the Premier League top 10 is the new top 6. Liverpool, City, United, Chelsea, Spurs, Arsenal, Wolves, Leicester, Sheffield United. The league has changed. I think there's a top 8 now. I think Wolves and Leicester sort of turned it into a top 8 possibly, but I wouldn't include Sheffield United yet.
I'm not sure how much I care, in all honesty. I do. I am looking forward to football. I am looking forward to following. I'm not looking forward to football. I'm looking forward to West Ham. I felt myself over the last few weeks falling out of love with football, very, very much so. I'm even yet. Yesterday and today was a bad day. I thought. I looked at all the news and everything yesterday in terms of football. Oh, this is bad. It's not how it should be going. Then I looked at it today. I thought, and I looked at how it had just. I looked at it and I thought, actually, there's all this fighting going on. Everyone's sort of forgotten the fans and the players. I looked at it, I thought, that's not right. This is not right. The two most important facets of football are the fans and the players, and it was almost like they'd got completely overlooked. I think the point is right in the question, in as much as it looks like there's going to be a galvanising of the top echelon in football. I think a large part of that is money driven. So much of it is now money, more than ever. And I know I'm quite late to the party on that. There'll be people saying, well, hold on, money's been going mad in football for the past 20 years. I understand that. But I think I've now realised West Ham are never going to be a top team. I knew that before. I think I allowed myself to dream a little bit with a move, and now I know it again. And I'm back to where I was as a fan 10 years ago, where I would take a relegation. I'll just take supporting the team, and I'll just take following the team. I'm not going to chase this holy grail of trying to get into ever decreasing positions. We've got to break into the top 4. Okay, now we can't. Got to break into the top 6. Okay, now we can't. Got to break into the top 10. Okay, now we can't. Honestly, I can't really. If that is the way football's gone, and it's basically people have bought up the top 10 positions, and you can't do it anymore. As I say, I'll turn up for the day out.
Well, I don't know. They haven't done it. They haven't all bought them up. Who have they? Spurs haven't bought them up. They've got there through organic growth. I would say Wolves have done it well. Leicester have done it through. Yeah, I know they've got rich owners, but they haven't gone around spunking money up the wall, have they? They've done it through clever purchasing of players, getting the right people in the right places, and they've done it correctly and organically, and that's what we've got to aim for. I'm still going to cling to that because that's what you've got to aspire to, and I understand why perspective of life has changed for everybody, but my perspective of football hasn't. And it's not because I think it's more important than hell before anyone says something like that. It's just because football's still football. Like, I still want to see us win the cup. Nothing in the world is going to change that. I still want to see us win the FA Cup. So every year, when we do a preview in September, November, October, say, right, season's going to start, but we're never going to attend a game this season, I'm still going to want to win the cup. Even if I can't be there, I still want to witness it. I still want that. And we've got to cling on to it. And I think more now than ever in life, people have to almost come up with a bucket list now and go chase that bucket list, because we've just had the biggest slap in the face ever to say how short life can be, how important life is, how you've got to carpe diem, seize the bloody moment. Well, now I think everybody should be writing down their 10 things on a bucket list, and as soon as you can, get out and do them, because
I agree.
And on that list is going to be, for me, it's going to be West Ham winning the FA Cup. When I wrote my bucket list 15 years ago, because something happened in my life that made me write stuff down, one of them was a season ticket at West Ham. I only wanted it for a year, and it turns out I've kept it. But if there's anything people do between now and the Boris Johnson thing on Sunday, please get a pen and paper. Shut your.
But you can't impact that, Geo.
No, but I can't. But I'll tell you something.
You could write 10 things on a bucket list of things you want to do, places you want to see.
10 dreams then, rather than a bucket list. A bucket list is a to-do list, isn't it? But write down 10 dreams, because top of mine is the Blue Lagoon in Iceland. That's the Northern Lights in Iceland, in the Blue Lagoon in Iceland. That's my number one in West Ham in the FA Cup.
But you can do that.
Yeah.
You can do that. You can't make West Ham win it. I mean, listen, I'd love West Ham to win the FA Cup. You can go to Iceland. You can do that. That sounds lovely.
Write down 10 things you want to experience in life. Then some of it you can't control. Win the lottery. People write down win the lottery. You can't control that. But I'm going to write down West Ham winning the cup, and I'm going to cling to it. I'm going to dream of it. Every season I'm going to think, please let this be the one season. Every time FA Cup weekend comes up, I've got the telly on for the draw. I don't care if It's filmed in flipping Morrison's again, like it was this. I mean, what was that all about? I don't know. But even if it's filmed in Morrison's, I'm still going to tune in and say, please, that team there, that team, the non-league side, can we have them at home, please? And this is what we've got to go to. And I'm not prepared to let something sacrifice stuff I dream of in life. No matter what it is, I'm not prepared to amend things I want to witness in my life, because that's what life's all about to me. It's about chasing dreams and creating memories on the way. And football's tied into that for me. So whenever we do a preview for next season, it's still going to be, I want a cup, Gonzo. I
won't change. I won't change on that. We've been resolute on that, both of us. I would still like to win a cup. I really would. But it gets, just going back to what the question is there. Yeah, I mean, it gets less and less likely with each passing year for obvious reasons. I don't feel the reason I think it's fine, because there's the people that count aren't chasing your dream for you. I mean, you would need to become chairman of the football club, really.
I think they are, but I think they're trying to do it through luck. I think probably Sullivan and Gold are also looking at the draw, and Morrison's going, please, can we have that non-league side? And I think that's partly the problem. When we had Slav, I genuinely felt he sat there, smoking a cigar in his office at Upton Park, going, pull any fucker you want out of that hat, we're going to beat them. I genuinely felt he had that aura about him, going, it's fine, we're West Ham United, doesn't matter who you put us up against, we're going to turn up and we're going to beat them. Now, under Pellegrini and Moyes, I feel like we're praying for the lowest one, because we're going to put the second squad out in hope to scrape through. It's just not good enough. If anything, actually, I hope this gives people at the club a little... Do you know how I said write stuff down? I hope people at the club are doing something similar, and they're also writing down, you know something? Win the FA Cup. David Moyes' manager's going, do you know something as manager? I'd like to go out winning the FA Cup. Martin Noble's writing down, well, I want to lift the FA Cup. And I hope Sullivan and Gold are thinking, well, if we were to go today, this scare going on, what would our legacy at West? What will we be remembered by? Well, we'll be remembered by the flipping protest happening a month ago before all this happened. Well, surely you want to go out with being remembered as the last owners to win the FA Cup for 10, 20, 30 years, because that's how long it probably will be afterwards.
I'll have an inkling there, just all saying we have to remain in the Premier League at all costs. I think that's what's going on.
I think so. Right, I've got a couple more, then we'll do the live chat. Anyone in the live chat questions or comments, whack them up. I'll get to them in a second. We'll go to YouTube ones now just to speed it up. HL 2002. Do you guys collect any football memorabilia? He's been getting into it recently, and he's just got his signed Rice and Allaire shirt framed.
No, I don't. We anything we've had, we sort of end up giving it away generally, which is fine. It's cool. No, the irony is I probably now have an area to display football memorabilia, but no, I haven't done traditionally.
This is the one downfall with doing Hammers Chat, is we've come across things that before Hammers Chat we got really excited by. And we still get excited by, but our immediate priority is, where will I put that? Our immediate priority is, what kind of giveaway will we do? And it's a bit of a shame, I guess. We sort of lose perspective as to what it is, but I get a bit of a buzz. I speak for Gonzo here as well. We get a bit of a buzz seeing someone else get happy with the memorabilia that we give them for whatever it might be. And we've got a little bundle coming up for the patrons, which is
it's really
an incredible
good,
giveaway
actually.
that we can do. It actually tried to come yesterday, but because I was at work, the postman stuck the thing through the letterbox, so I couldn't. And then it says, "Don't come get it redelivered." I'm like, well, when are you going to redeliver it, mate? I'm at work. So I've put it in to get redelivered anyways. It's coming on Monday, so hopefully next week we will show you what we've got for a giveaway, and it's a good prize. It's a good prize, this one. So yeah, memorabilia, I don't keep anything, unfortunately. This is a funny question. I know your answer. Peter Whitelock, will you attend a match at London Stadium in October if speculation is correct and the government give the go-ahead for fans to return? Have you thought about this yet enough?
Have I? Sorry, say again.
Thought about this, because I think Brighton, you can renew your season ticket for next season.
Yeah, I mean, I just couldn't afford to at the moment. We've had a massive switch here because my wife is a student nurse, and they pulled them in a lot more. They fast tracked them. And funny enough, she was in here today at lunchtime in here doing a conference call. So they're making her student position permanent, and she's having to sign up for all this stuff. So basically, she's found us. She's we don't know what's going to happen with work, and that has to be the priority. And I don't have any work, so the dynamic in this house has changed. We have a position where once they rubber stamp it, my wife is going to be the breadwinner and not me. So and because we don't know when the kids are going back to school, it's crazy, absolutely crazy. But if they brought season tickets out now, there's no way I could buy one because I wouldn't even know that I'd be able to go to a game at the moment.
If you had the money, would you go back? I guess it's a health.
If I had the money,
question, isn't it? It's a very
yeah. If I had the money, yes, I would go back. I've got to be honest with you. At the moment, would I like to go to a game? Yes, but a lot of it is I'd like to see my mates, and I'd like to have a drink with my mates. That's for sure. The thought of going on public transport, I do not fancy. I've got to be honest with you. The thought of getting on the tube and all the rest of it at the moment is not something. Would I feel different in October? We'll just have to see how things go. I was going to say October's a long time away, but I know we've all been stuck indoors. But the last 2 months has gone really quickly. It seems like it has for me anyway. Maybe it's dragged for other people. I guess we cross that bridge when we come to it. But if they said West Ham are playing at home this Saturday, I wouldn't go.
I would.
Basically, yeah.
I would. I think you knew my answer was going to be this, but things haven't changed much for me because after when Boris done his thing on the Monday night, the first one, which was we're going into lockdown, but it's not called lockdown. I didn't go to work for a couple of weeks, but eventually, my boss man was like, "Oi, back to work." So I've been back at work for 4 weeks now, maybe, or something like that. So nothing's really changed. It's obviously quiet to and from work, but I still pass people in the street and stuff. Still go to the shop. My life's not really a thing. But then I strongly think I've had it. I strongly believe I've had it in the end of February. There's 2 things that line up, and it's things that are like, basically there's someone that I was with at Southampton game, and when I was speaking to him not that long ago, and he was saying, "Oh, I think I had it," and I joked to him. I said, "Oh, was it after Southampton game?" He's like, "It might have been actually." So he went and checked the dates, and he come back and goes, "Yeah, how do you know that?" So I said, "Because I think I had it prior to that." I said, "And I had your season ticket cards." But yeah, I would go.
And you licked them. I remember you licking the season ticket cards.
Yeah, I was just scooping up my honeycomb and brie.
With the cinnamon and the raisins.
Spreading the butter on the bagel with it and everything. But yeah, I would go back. It's going to be very daunting, I guess, but I'm aware of the risks, and it's my own personal choice. That's the key factor here. The key factor is it's everybody's personal choice, and my own personal choice would be I'd go. I don't know why. I can't really explain it. It's just I'm not afraid of it. If that makes sense. I'm not. Do you know when I go to Tesco? I don't wear protection or anything. But like, if someone was to cough, I wouldn't run across the other side of the car park, and I'd be all right. I'm just not. I respect the rules in place for the safety of other people more from myself, if that makes sense, because I'm comfortable. I'm happy to go to work and come home again and stuff, and I'm all right.
Yeah, I have a feeling that if I got it again. See, I don't believe a lot of the stuff that's said. I think this was going on for a while.
Yeah.
Loads of people had coughs in December. I never get a cough. Right? I had a really bad cough. You'll even see. Remember some of the videos at the stop when I had to cough. I mean, I've done that over the 4 years. Just doesn't happen. Everyone had coughs in December, and who are we to believe? I don't believe what governments say, or whatever. What China says, what our government say. I don't believe politicians. Full stop. I think this thing could have been going out. I wouldn't be surprised if half the country has had this. Yeah. Not the whatever, the 100,000 or whatever the figure might be. I wouldn't be surprised if 30 million people have had it, right? But so you don't know. But with that in mind, I think I would be all right. I feel confident in my own health. I did all right. It's probably worth pointing out that when myself, Charlie, and Geo started doing this, we used to do We used to do videos with a chap called Scott. If you remember Scott, the guy from Yorkshire, had the Mohican. Scott got it, and he got it really, really bad. He was on the respirator and everything. He's actually done. He was actually on the radio talking about it on radio and everything like that. So it's a bit arrogant of me to say, oh, hold on a second, I think I'll be right. I think I would. My concern is passing it on to other people. I think if I then went up to football, well, hold on, I wouldn't then be able to go down and see my mum when it's lifted. I'm not seeing my mum in a long, long time. So I think things like that. And of course, as I've said, my son is heavily asthmatic. I mean, fortunately, it's not. It looks like children seem to be okay, So yeah, I think I would still continue to be careful for other people, basically.
Yeah, that's the thing for me. I mean, I think the only reason I think I had it is because I was absolutely battered for 2 days. For one day, I just slept. I think I slept for about 36 hours, and you can count them on one hand the amount of 6 days that I've had in a decade at work. So when I took 2 days off, it's just not normal for me to take days off work. And I remember waking up on the Tuesday. My alarm put me off on the Tuesday, and I woke up. And I sat up and I thought, fucking hell, I don't feel good. I thought, I'll have a nap. I thought, I'll have an extra half hour. I'll go to work. I woke up, it was like lunchtime. I thought, wow, where's the day gone? Oh, well, it's too late now. I went back to sleep and I woke up and it was in the evening. I thought, right, I need to eat something here. I need a drink and that. And then I just kept sleeping and waking up now and again, noticing the time. And then it wasn't until late Wednesday, and we had Southampton at home on the Saturday. I remember thinking I need to get to work because I was off on the Friday because I was going down to Bez's to see Bez on the Friday and that. And so I thought, well, I need to get into the next. So I went in on Thursday. Wasn't feeling great, but I was a lot better. And then for about 2-3 weeks after, I had a cough. It just would not go away, that cough. But I felt fine. I didn't. At no point during it, when I thought I had it, at no point did I have the temperature though. I was slightly warm, but I wasn't sweating or anything like a lot of people had. I was knackered. I had a thumping sore head for a large part of it, and then I had the cough for a while, but I didn't have the temperature part really. But you never know, do you? You don't know, do you, until we can get tested and stuff, and you almost get the golden ticket to say, yeah, I've had it, I'm alright now, I can walk around like Liam Gallagher.
Go back to the brothel, all that stuff. Yeah, I got told off in a video because when I had that bad cough, I kept having those cough sweets. I had to have them all the time. Even when we're doing this, I have to have 4. It was anything to stop me coughing. So yeah, someone said, "Can you stop? Why do you feel the need to eat sweets constantly during a video? It's a bit rude. Can you stop doing it?" And I got the right arse. I said, "No, actually, I think you're fine. I need those."
You've got sweets in that box behind you on the pinball table. We can see you.
Yeah.
No need for that. Anyway, there was a question. It's from Peter Darlow. It says, is our attachment for West Ham, or is it for the day out with our West Ham friends?
Both. The friends is a big one because I had this conversation with my wife. We were discussing. I was discussing it with her, and I said, about going back to West Ham. I said, well, when they do ease restrictions and you're allowed to hang around with 5 or 10 people, I said, it doesn't have to be the football. I mean, Wayne, Wayne, I often go to the boxing with Wayne and stuff like that. Well, hold on, maybe we go to a small little, we've done many things that aren't West Ham and hooked up. And I had a phone call with Tony. I spoke to Danny today on the phone. I just thinking, well, hold on a second, it doesn't have to be, that there is a massive attachment to West Ham now. And I think this is why I'm feeling a little bit crap about the whole West Ham thing, because West Ham has never felt so un-West Ham for me. And it was, a large part of it has to be about your friends, because West Ham has changed so much from Upton Park and from everything like that and what you previously knew. And I think that's also coincided with maybe more mercenary players. I'm not saying we never had players that left before. It's not notice Arnautovic was piping up again today in the press. It's not like they would never existed, but it just seems worse and it just everything's changed. So but you still love West Ham. It's still claret and blue, but a lot of it, the ground's changed, the badge has changed, that a bit of both, though, I think, but a lot of it is friends.
I've got 3 things. There's actually another one which Peter never suggested. I'll get onto that in a sec. The people is massive for me, to be honest with you. I would not enjoy it anywhere near as much I'd still be attached to West Ham. Truth be told, I don't know if I'd go as much without the people. That's just being honest with you, especially for me, because I arrive in London first thing and I don't leave till last thing. So I've got the whole day. One home game is a whole day to me. So if I had to sit around like a little loner boy all morning, go to the game, then all evening again, I wouldn't enjoy it as much. So the people's massive, but there's an attachment to West Ham, of course. When we play on a Saturday, an away game, and I'm sat at home, my whole day is based around watching West Ham on the telly or whatever. I'm thinking, right, okay, I need to get this done, but I need to be sat down at 1:30 until 5:30. So I need to. My whole day is based around watching West Ham. And there's a third attachment, and that's Ham's Chat. Now, yes. I'm gonna say most people as well. This is now an hour and 15 minutes in. If you're at this stage, I'm gonna say you've got a bit of an attachment to Hammer's Chat as well. To make it this far in, you've done quite well. And Peter must do, because he's in the live chat. And it's a completely different thing. I think maybe the older generations won't like it, and they might think, "Whoa, hang on a minute, piss off, you lot." But the reality is, it's part of your routine now regarding West Ham. I do with other people's channels and that. I check, see what they or their websites and stuff. I check their websites. But I think Hammer's Chat's an attachment for me. It's something that pulls me in a little bit, and I can't almost like not look up news for West Ham because of videos like this. We've almost got a duty to stay up to date with the research, the news, the rumours. We've almost got a duty to do that. So Hammer's Chat's a third one for me.
And we enjoy doing it. As I was going to say, I enjoy doing it. I know you do as well. We enjoy doing these videos. This is a good laugh. All right. Well, we've
the whole lockdown thing for us would have dragged a lot more without videos to do and content, and even 100%. Just speaking for an hour and then half an hour after the video and stuff like that just breaks your day up.
It's a therapy for me. I said this. I said to Mrs. today. The kids had a massive row. I'm close to killing each other. The kids today.
On your pinball machine.
They don't know about them. But I said actually, the therapy, if you like, of being able to walk down to the end of the garden, shut the door, record some videos. It's good. It's good for people. People keep saying, "Don't they, Joe? Thanks for the content." And it's doing us a favour, and all, quite frankly,
Yeah. Right. Question from Anthony. We've never had this question before. I can guarantee that. Auntie Berryman says, "I had to get police permission recently while in lockdown, as my 89-year-old dad had no food left. Whilst I was there, one of your best strikers walked past my dad's house. Guess who?" I'm going to assume he's talking about all time rather than literally today.
Okay, well, I'm going to go with Jeff Hurst.
I'm going to say, I'll say Taylor. I'll go with him.
Okay.
Hopefully we'll get the answer from Anthony.
Yeah. Oh yes. We don't. Okay. We don't. Yeah.
Wait, hang on a minute. Cool. Four Sheezy's got it right because he replied and says Anthony said yes. Oh, it's Tony Cotti. Four Sheezy said Tony Cotti, and Anthony said yes. How did you know? No, I think Four Sheezy was just guessing really. So he lives.
Yeah. No, he didn't. He definitely didn't know.
Super Stubbsy, can you ask Gonzo why he'll eat unwrapped sweets sent through the post, but not a takeaway during a pandemic? Oh, that's a good question.
It is a good one. To be fair, Ed, who sent them, told me when they'd got sent and all the rest of it, and there'd been a bit of a hold up for them coming here. So I knew that they'd been here. I hadn't opened them until at least 5-6 days after when they'd been sent and all the rest of it. And so whereas the pizza, well, it's just then and there, isn't it? So. Yeah.
Tom Bull says he wouldn't go to London Stadium without the boats and the people he met. He said Upton Park, he'd go straight there and home, but he loved that place. Paul McGinty, lads, do you think Premier League are maybe trying to play a few games for the benefit of Liverpool to wrap up the title so there are no absolute complaints from the rest of the league? I don't think they are, This is one conspiracy theory that annoys me. I think it's purely money driven. And this will be proven when we play 2 games and Liverpool have then secured the title. We will still have to play the remainder because then, if it's true, after 2 games, I think the Premier League might say, well, we've reviewed it and it turns out it's too risky, so we're just going to cancel it now. And Liverpool's won the title now, so they might as well keep it. I think it's getting played to finish, and I think it's a financially driven thing rather than I just don't think it's anything like that, to be honest.
I don't think anyone would have complained either, Gio, if people would have awarded it, even though they mathematically hadn't won it. Everybody in football, you have to know nothing about football, really, to think that Liverpool were going to be caught.
Yeah.
You know, it's crazy. Everyone knows Liverpool are the champions.
Yeah. Ray, would you do an online scouting training course? He's been thinking about doing one just so he can get their point of view and see if he's looking at the right things. No, I wouldn't, because I'm far too arrogant, far too stubborn, and I'd find it very patronising.
Not for what we do here. But I mean, I'm pretty sure I haven't had time. I'd love to, for all the reasons that we discussed before. The fellas that run my son and daughter's football team, who do it just for the love, and are so into it, and well, that is great. You know, park football is great. You know, you go there. I'm really invested in it. I love that. It's a shame that stopped. Shame for the kids. Shame for the people involved and everything. I really enjoy going to the park on a Saturday in order to watch my kids play. I love it. I think it's brilliant. If I was doing that and I was one of those wonderful people who had the time and the energy to throw into that, I'd certainly would do online courses. And well, I think you'd have to do a course, and you'd need some sort of FA certification, I'm pretty sure. But no, I don't think I'd sit at home and do one as it stands now.
Right, we'll do a couple more questions and we'll wrap this up. Ryan Power, food or drink? We've not had a lot of food questions tonight. That's disappointing. We normally get lots of food questions, don't we? Well, no one's eating at the minute, are they? Oh, everyone's eating too much. They're watching this and trying to stop thinking about food. Sorry. Food or drink?
I was asking to choose one.
Yeah, food or drink.
Well, I think you need both, mate.
You're only getting one, mate. You're only getting one. You've got what?
Well, you're going to die then, aren't you?
Well, no. If you buy water, you'll be okay.
Well, you won't. You'll die
Eventually, but you'll survive long enough.
Yeah. Well, it doesn't matter. You're going to die. Well, that's a terrible choice.
To go rob somewhere and get some food.
Yeah. I just.
Right, he's got another one here: a roast dinner or a full English breakfast.
I think a roast dinner, but done properly.
If it's not done properly.
Touche. You don't want any underdone chicken. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah, so you're going for a roast.
I am, but with there's lots of rules.
I don't know. It's difficult. There's two completely different types of meal, isn't it? Like I wouldn't want a roast at 8 a.m. in the morning, would I? No. But I could eat a full English at any time during the day. Yes. So I'm going to go for a full English. Just
interesting.
Just interesting. A little bit, but it's got to have black pudding and no square sausage.
As we discussed, you missed a mug of tea last night. This was a hot topic.
None of that. Last question. This is a funny one. It's a fun question. Victor Fan. If we had to play behind closed doors, do you think we may as well use Rush Green?
It's the perfect venue.
I think so as well.
It's got a little stand there. There's a little gantry that you can broadcast from.
That's pushing it. It's a bit scaffold.
Yeah, well, that's what gantries are, basically.
I don't think it's got a roof.
Well, whatever. A bit more scaffold and a tarp over the top. But Rush Green is perfect. For that sense.
I think it's perfect for mind games as well. You put their away team in the port cabins. So then you go there, get changed in there. We're in this.
Breathe on each other. Yeah.
Yeah, no air conditioning. Yeah, none of that. Turn the heating up as well, so all your temperatures go up, and now you all start getting
absolutely.
Paranoid,
You could bring the bagels out on a tray, Gio, with a little
card.
No, but not razors, little rabbit poos on them or something, just to stitch them up. I
think so. I think Rush Green would be the right thing to do. I think you've got to listen. The Premier League are playing dirty. Let's make no bones about it. They're now playing dirty. I think the clubs now have to start playing a little bit dirty as well, because it's going to be health, and eventually health stops, and it now moves on to football. And when it gets into football, that's when you've really got to watch your own back, and you've got to do what's right for you as a football club. The teams that compromise the most are going to have to be careful, because they're also risking the most, and that is relegation. We've heard the Villa chairman. I thought it was... Do you know something? I like the honesty of some of the chairmen in the last week or something. Steve Parish has come out and spoke. You don't have to agree with him, but I enjoy hearing the truth Okay, too often. At the minute, that's all we're hearing at the minute. We're hearing loads of bullshit. We don't know what is actually real and genuine. It's good to hear someone come out and just speak honest and direct to the fan base and say, this is your club's thoughts. We don't get it. We have to wait for the Sun to come out and read Karen Brady's fucking cynical piece of writing that she's done, where it can be taken either way, and then the following week she backtracks on what how people have taken it. Well, maybe write it clear the first week, and then we won't have a problem. But anyway, the Villa one come out and basically said, of course we don't want to play in neutral venues. We want to play in what suits us the most. It's a £200 catastrophe if we get relegated. And he says, but I can also understand why people in the top six want to get going regardless, because they've got a lot to gain, but we've got a lot to lose, and it's completely true. And I think I said in another video, I find the lack of understanding from other teams' fans is just baffling. I can completely understand why Liverpool fans are itching to get the season finished, 100%, and that goes for Leicester fans, Sheffield United fans. Well, I completely get it, but I just find that there's a lot of them not understanding why the bottom six just are in no hurry at all to get going, or don't want to get going. They're almost digging out our clubs as if we're in the wrong. Actually, all clubs are in the right here. They're looking after their own. Why wouldn't you? It's just baffling. Baffling, Gonzo. Anyway, anything else you'd like to add before we disappear? We're getting a lot of food questions now.
Oh yeah, go on. Guess two food questions.
Edward Webster says hobnobs or digestives.
Well, why does people keep mentioning hobnobs? I know they're your favourites, but I do feel the biscuit conversations are heavily weighted on the hobnob side of things. I do not think it's a spectacular biscuit. Okay,
premium biscuit.
A digestive.
You know what I was eating earlier?
Obviously.
Fox's Golden Crunch. It's like a premium custard
cream. With a cream in the middle.
Premium custard cream.
Nice biscuit. It's a good biscuit. I'll give you that. That's a dunker.
Yeah, I was about to say I was dunking it.
Oh well, fine, but fair play, mate. I'm surprised you could fit it all in. What with the bagels,
50 pence a packet at Tesco's at the minute.
Did you put the Golden Cruncher in the hole in the middle of the bagel?
No, I didn't. Stop being rude.
I was.
Did you double dip? Is that your next question?
Yeah, no, you would have put the chocolate finger in. Anyway, which are another fine biscuit.
Borshese, McCoy's Mexican chili or Sensations Thai sweet chili?
Sensations Thai sweet chili. Can I tell you something? You see that? Very disappointing.
Yeah.
Very. All right, as I was thinking, I'm thinking more bacon. It says crispy bacon and maple syrup. It's very weak. It's very bland. It's not very bacony, and it's. Pardon?
It's a charity pack.
Well, I'm a nice sort of guy.
So where's it going?
I'm very charitable. Does it say charity?
Yeah, it does. Underneath kettle chips.
I don't know. But really disappointing.
You see it? Underneath really kettle, it says charity pack.
So it does. I bet. Okay, well, in which case, I'm going to go down to Oxfam tomorrow. They're quite nasty anyway. I'll put a little clothes peg on the top, and I'll leave them there for someone else to vomit over.
Right, last one. Thornton's or milk tray? Thornton's for me, 100%.
I used to they got this thing called a Viennese finger in Thornton's, and there was this woman and we've got one quite local to us actually, and I on purpose. There's something wrong with me. Obviously, I know this, but I would purposely go in there and ask for the Vietnamese finger.
Sorry.
I saw it.
Just quickly, Rick just said you nicked it from some orphanage, you bastard.
I did, but you know what, Rick? They've got to learn, mate. They've got to learn.
Sorry,
you know,
Viennese chocolate finger.
They look quite fat for orphans, Rick. So I thought I'm having your crisps. Get out of it. But I'm nice apart from that. So I say Vietnamese finger, and the first time I did it, you could see her face. And she smiled, and she went to ding, and she got it, and she handed it to me. And then next time I went in there, I asked her the same thing again. I saw, can I have another, and can I have a Vietnamese thing? Oh, they were really nice. I had those last time. And I thought, how long is it going to be? I quite like them anyway. Until she corrected me, and I think on the 6th or 7th time, she said, by the way, it's Viennese. I said, oh, really? Is it? Oh, right. I thought they were from Vietnam. She said, no. It says Viennese. Oh, okay then. I said, all right. A bit like a Vietnamese twirl then.
I thought you were proper racist.
Well, she didn't think I was racist. I was stupid. She thought I couldn't spell.
Stupid, racist, and you steal crisps from charities.
All the bad things. Yes, I am a nasty piece of work.
Thornton's chocolates though are delicious. I like the dessert ones. Do you know when you get like the lemon meringue chocolate and you might get like a pina colada chocolate, apple crumble chocolate. Those ones are my
very nice. Have you seen those imposters? Hotel Chocolat, they're called.
Yeah, they're very expensive.
Not nice. Nice.
It's about £8, and they call it a slab of chocolate. It's just a
nice.
block of chocolate, mate. You just change the name to make it sound bigger.
Absolutely. A bar.
Yeah, it's a big.
Like that.
Yeah, it's that, but because it's smooth, they're able to call it a slab. So it's a slab of chocolate.
Yeah.
Con.
It is a con. It's quite bland. I don't like it. Too much money.
I only like it when it's got the. I think I had one. It was like caramel shortcake or something. That was really nice though. There was a lot of sauce on it.
Yeah, but that's because you like shortcake and caramel. It's not the chocolate you're enjoying.
It was a good combination. It's not quite as good as Dairy Milk Popping Candy. Those bars are number one. But
my mate says he likes gin, but he gets raspberry flavoured gin. He then puts a lemon in it, a bit of cucumber, and anything else. I say, you don't like gin. You're doing everything you can to disguise that. It's like coffee, isn't it? Oh, I love a cup of coffee. Well, hold on, there's marshmallows, there's chocolate, there's cream. You've foamed it up, there's sprinkles, there's also, crikey, you've even got a toy in there. You don't like coffee. You're doing everything you can to make that coffee taste like hot chocolate. You don't like coffee, is what I'm saying. There you go.
Anyway, we'll leave it there. That's a lot of food talk there. If you've enjoyed this episode, drop a like on it.
Is anyone still watching? Maybe going, I bet they're all gone, aren't they? We're talking to ourselves again.
People here, so thank you very much to those
Madness.
Stuck with us.
Madness.
I know my volume is probably a bit lower than Gonzo's. I remember now when I done this on my computer, I had to adjust mine. So I'll get that sorted for the next one. I realise I also look a bit dark, but to be honest with you, I don't know how you fix it. I'm using the camera on my new computer, and I don't know how you change the brightness, to be honest. I'm just hoping it does it itself, but it's not.
So they can't see you, and they can't hear you.
See me, and no.
This has been a better show than normal, I'd imagine, for these people.
It's just that I'm quieter than you, that's all. But I'll sort it for the next one. It's fine. I remember about it now, because you only do it once, and once you do it once, it's there forever. That setting's there forever. So if I do it once, it's fine. Forget. As for the brightness on my camera, in all honesty, I do not know. I don't know how you change it. So if someone does know how to change it, please message me.
Probably some sort of brightness setting.
I've checked. I've looked. I don't know how you do it. And someone said if you cover up the button next to it, which is like the light sensor, it makes your camera brighter. But I was doing that earlier, and it doesn't make a difference. I don't know. People at home might be like, yeah, it's getting brighter, so keep it there. I don't know. And there's...
Just cover up the camera. Who needs a camera?
I don't know. Well, maybe we'll just try it. So I might just get Charlie to come on and pose, but I'll cut Charlie's audio off and have my audio, so you can watch Charlie but listen to me.
Nice.
Yeah. So anyway,
Hairy Geo.
We'll have a quiz. We'll have a quiz this weekend at some point. We've got a video coming up on the championship players we should be looking at. What's on the agenda for tomorrow on the forum channel?
I think...
You don't know. He doesn't know.
No, I do. I've got 3 different things written down, but I can't read my own writing. But there's something to do with football.
Well, that's an exclusive for you. Mishmash Poster, if you want one, email us, hammerschat@gmail.com. Subscribe if you're new around here. Drop a like on the video if you enjoyed it. We'll be back very, very soon. Take care.